He doesn't have to go to work, but he has endless money to spend. He throws away his gold Rolex watch whenever he wants, crashes into his Lamborghini whenever he wants, and a helicopter worth millions is his little toy. There are also supermodels at home. However, 4 years ago, he was a poor man and could only commute to get off work by taking the bus every day. Jordan is a clerk at a Wall Street stock company. His job is to make 500 calls a day to promote stocks and earn a 1% commission. The boss told Jordan the secret to success.
Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
No one here knows whether the stock is going up or down. As stockbrokers, they must do everything possible to gain the trust of their customers and make them believe in those illusory, invisible and intangible things.
You got a client who bought stock at 8 and it now sits at 16 and he's all fucking happy. He wants to...
They must not be allowed to take the money away. The customers must be allowed to use the proceeds to invest in another stock, so that they can continuously earn commissions. In the boss's dictionary, it is not only about emptying the customer's pockets, but also about emptying their pockets. 6 months later, Jordan successfully obtained the stockbroker certificate. Just when he wanted to make a big move, he encountered an unprecedented stock market crash. In one day, the stock price plummeted 508 points. People called this day Black Monday. Unfortunately, the stock company where Jordan worked went bankrupt, and he became unemployed as a result. The wife wanted to pawn their wedding rings in order to make ends meet. Jordan told his wife not to worry. He decided to find a sales job, and maybe he could climb all the way to the general manager position. But his wife didn't want him to give up being a stockbroker and encouraged him to go to a small stock company. There are 2 types of companies that can survive a stock market crash. One is a large company that has suffered heavy losses and still stands firm, and the other is a small workshop. The stock company Jordan applied for was the latter, and this decision would change his life. Although the stocks sold here are all junk stocks, they can get a super high commission of 50%, which means that if you sell $1, you can earn 50 cents, and if you sell 10,000, you can get 5,000. He used to face elites from all walks of life, but now he faces poor people with little education. For Jordan, who was born on Wall Street, this is simply a dimensionality-reducing blow.
Well, reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months. If you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share the idea with you. Cutting-edge, high-tech firm out of the Midwest, awaiting imminent patent approval on a next generation of radar detectors that have both huge military and civilian applications. Now, our analysts indicate it could go a heck of a lot higher than that. Your profit on a mere $6,000 investment would be upwards of $60,000.
Jesus, that's my mortgage, man.
Exactly, you could pay off your mortgage.
But Jordan regarded his client as a friend and promoted stocks to him from the other side's perspective. Colleagues who were selling stocks on the side heard Jordan's exaggerated promotion and stopped what they were doing to listen. Some colleagues directly wrote down Jordan's words. After Jordan's beautiful description, the other party actually bought 4,000 yuan of stocks directly. I made 2,000 yuan just by making phone calls, which made my colleagues look envious. Because these stocks can no longer fall, there is no need to worry about the possibility of losing money. Soon, Jordan became the top seller of the new company. In just a few months, he bought a luxury sports car and added hundreds of thousands to his bank account. However, this did not satisfy Jordan. He decided to set up his own stock company. His business empire began to quietly build. Jordan met a stranger in the restaurant. Fat Xiao was a furniture salesman. He had been paying attention to Jordan for a long time. When he learned that Jordan could earn 70,000 a month, Xiao Pang immediately quit his job and decided to start a business with Jordan. They rented an old factory building in the suburbs, and the next step was to find a group of colleagues with sales experience. He have found a few friends who are not very good at it. Although these people are not highly educated, what they are best at is interpersonal communication after being in society for many years. Jordan took out a pen and asked his friend to sell it to him.
My boy right there.
This pen.
Fucking sell anything.
Would you do me a favor? Why'd you name down that napkin for me?
I don't have a pen.
Exactly. Supply and demand, my friend.
This is exactly what Jordan wants to say, to do everything possible to create demand so that customers are willing to buy stocks. With the joining of this group of friends, Jordan's stock company opened smoothly. At first, their target was still the lowest common people. Jordan and his friends soon made a lot of money, but his wife felt that selling junk stocks to the poor was a very immoral act. As investors, the poor could not make any money at all. Doing so will only make their lives worse. Why not sell these junk stocks to rich people? They won't care about losing money anyway. His wife's words gave Jordan a bold idea, and he decided to reach into the pockets of the 1% rich. At this time, there were signs of recovery in the stock market, so Jordan registered a new trademark for the company, wrote a century-old history for the company, and packaged the image of his employees. After determining the company's new development direction, Jordan unreservedly handed over his sales pitch to his friends and employees, letting them know how to sell to wealthy people.
A company that our clients can trust. A firm whose roots are so deeply embedded into Wall Street that our very founders, we unload the dog shit, the pink sheets, the penny stocks, where we make the money. 50% commission, baby.
As a stock salesman, you must learn to strike first, so that these rich people will not find out until it is too late. With Jordan's help and guidance, the company's employees quickly placed orders, and they seem to have truly become the best stockbrokers on Wall Street. The company's scale expanded rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Jordan turned the small workshop into a large company, earning 28.7 million yuan in commissions in 1 month, and the company's size doubled. Jordan suddenly became a famous figure in the stock market, and major newspapers reported on his deeds. He himself even won the title of the Wolf of Wall Street. Jordan met supermodel Mary at a party. The two fell in love and soon came together. However, their affair was eventually discovered by his wife, and Jordan had no choice but to divorce his wife and let Mary move into his home. They held a romantic wedding on the beach, and Jordan also gave Mary a yacht as their wedding gift. After marriage, Mary gave birth to a daughter to Jordan. Jordan could be said to have a good harvest in his family and career, but he was not satisfied with the status quo. Jordan wanted to make more money, so he planned a bigger scam. Xiaopeng's childhood friend is the founder of a women's shoe company. Jordan wants to list his company and then set the stock price. Making a fortune, he secretly bought 85% of the company's shares. Stockbrokers are not allowed to hold shares. Jordan's behavior has violated the law. What follows is Jordan's passionate speech.
Are you behind on your credit card bills? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. Is your landlord ready to evict you? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a fucking worthless loser? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
Jordan's passionate speech inspired everyone, and they all picked up the phone and started selling stocks, making 22 million in just 3 hours. This also attracted the attention of federal agents. The lawyer advised Jordan to keep a low profile recently, but Jordan did not listen to the lawyer's advice. He asked the agent to meet on his yacht and wanted to use money to prevent the other party from continuing the investigation. The detective also made it clear that if Jordan did anything illegal, he would send him to jail. When Jordan hit a wall, he decided to transfer his assets quickly. He and his friends went to the Swiss bank, the safest bank in the world, and wanted to deposit their money here. Chief Ke told Jordan that if he committed a common crime, even if the Ministry of Justice sent him a subpoena, he could turn a blind eye according to local law. But if Jordan committed stock fraud, the bank would be obliged to assist in the investigation, because stock fraud is also a crime in Switzerland. However, Jordan can deposit the money in someone else's name, find someone with a European household registration, and the banker will guarantee that he will not disclose any information about the customer. This reminded Jordan of Mary's aunt, who he assured would not involve him. Finally, the aunt agreed to Jordan's request. The next step was to transport the cash to a Swiss bank. Jordan found a friend's family and asked them to transport it back and forth 6 times in a suitcase. But during the last transportation, Xiaopeng and his friends had a dispute, and a large amount of cash was scattered on the floor. This led to the detectives following them noticing something unusual. Unfortunately, his friend was arrested and sent to jail. The detectives also installed a bug in Jordan's home. Jordan could only communicate with the lawyer through a public phone. The lawyer relied on years of experience and asked Jordan to confess some illegal things to the Securities Regulatory Commission. In this way, as long as he pays a fine of several million, the China Securities Regulatory Commission will not come to trouble him again. At the same time, Jordan also promised to no longer engage in the securities industry. Federal agents would also drop their investigation into him. In order not to spend the rest of his life in prison, Jordan accepted the lawyer's advice and decided to retire early and leave the company he founded. At the farewell party, everyone showed their reluctance to leave Jordan. Jordan was very moved and couldn't help but burst into tears. He remembered the scene of fighting with everyone, so Jordan temporarily changed his mind. He wanted to live and die with his colleagues in the company. The employees were excited for Jordan to stay, and the detectives were notified again to continue the investigation of Jordan. They interrogated Jordan's friends in turn, but never got any useful information. Just when Jordan thought everything was fine, his wife Mary brought him bad news. It turned out that his aunt suddenly died of illness, and his tens of millions of properties were frozen by the bank. Jordan must rush to Switzerland as soon as possible to apply for an unfreeze. But now Jordan has long been restricted from leaving the country, so he chose to go on a yacht with Mary. As a result, they were hit by waves halfway. This was the closest Jordan came to death. He looked back on the bad things he did in the first half of his life. If he could survive this time, he would definitely change his ways and be a good person. Fortunately, the rescue team arrived in time and rescued them, while the yacht sank into the sea. After that, Jordan completely withdrew from the securities industry, and federal agents stopped looking for him. Jordan began to teach viewers how to manage money on TV. He shared the secrets of his success with people. However, 2 years later, federal agents came to find him again. It turns out that the president of a Swiss bank was arrested for money laundering. This matter originally had nothing to do with Jordan, but in order to reduce his crime, Bank confessed to Jordan. All of Jordan's stolen money was confiscated by the court, and he was sued by the court for stock fraud. What awaits him is 20 years in prison. Federal agents negotiated with Jordan to reduce his sentence to 3 years as long as he would identify others with the crime. Although Jordan is not a good person, he is very loyal and cannot betray his friends. When Mary learned about this, she chose to divorce Jordan. He wanted to leave with his daughter. Jordan didn't want to lose his daughter, so he hugged him and prepared to leave. Faced with his wife's obstruction, he hit the wall directly, and his daughter was injured. After calming down, Jordan knew he couldn't go anywhere, so he accepted the cooperation of federal agents. The agents installed a bug on him, and then asked Jordan to obtain criminal evidence from his friends. When talking to Xiaopang, Jordan secretly handed him a note and asked him not to say anything detrimental to himself. As a result, Xiaopang betrayed Jordan in order to reduce his sentence, and he handed the note to the detective. Jordan was so disheartened by his friend's betrayal that he sent all the criminals to prison in anger. In return, Jordan only stayed in prison for 3 years. After his release, he became a sales trainer.
To give a warm Auckland, New Zealand welcome for my good friend and the world's greatest sales trainer, Mr. Jordan Belfort!
Jordan walked onto the podium to loud applause, took out a pen and walked up to an audience member.
Sell me this pen.
It's a amazing pen. For professionals.
Sell me this pen.
It's a nice pen. You can use the pen to write down thoughts from your life so you can remember.
Sell me this pen.
Well, this pen works, and I personally love this pen.
Behind him are pairs of eyes hungry for knowledge. In their eyes, Jordan is a sales wizard. This is a movie story adapted from a real person, and the final host is Jordan himself. Although Jordan does whatever it takes to make money, his grasp of customer psychology is so accurate that he can be called the Wolf of Wall Street.